at. We're looking at working with food and nutrition to set up the conditions for our body to work naturally. And we need to understand a bit of the background rather than me going in and just recommending this food and that food, which we're going to do. I go through the background first so you know the value of certain foods and what they're doing for you, but also you know the danger of other foods and what can happen over a period of time, what can happen to our body. And I give you the background on it, and then I go into the foods, and then I'm going to give you the list of the foods, and I'm also going to give you ideas for breakfast, for lunch and for dinner. But when you understand the value and the dangers yourself of certain foods, you will be more inclined. You'll know what's behind. The first step, I would say, to balancing up the diet is to knock out the foods that are building up waste in the body. And the foods that are building up waste in the body mainly are the high carbohydrates and the sugars. We need to watch that. They can clog up the system. And if we're getting it, it's called high glycemic foods, and if we're eating a lot of high glycemic foods, what can happen is that they can build up waste, clogging up the body. They can even make our blood very, very sticky. So, and it's not just about weight loss, because high insulin producing foods, yes, insulin is known as the fat hormone, and at a certain point it can throw our whole metabolism out if over time if we're eating a lot of high insulin producing foods. But it's not just about gaining weight, it's also linked to many, many health issues. And the main one that's known out there is the metabolic syndrome, and the metabolic syndrome is very, very common in our middle age, very, very common, and it's a whole host of conditions, things like diabetes, obesity, high cholesterol, blood pressure. All of those can be linked together, and it comes under the banner of the metabolic syndrome, very, very common for middle-aged people. And basically, our whole metabolism, it's a metabolic issue for us. And a lot of that is being linked to foods that cause an excessive amount of insulin in our body. So in a nutshell, what we want to do is we want to control insulin before it controls us. And most of us need to reduce our carbohydrate load. Basically, it's the carbohydrates and the sugars. And I've broken it down there for you, the main culprits, the white group, and the foods there, and I'll give you a few alternatives as well. But even with the alternatives, I would take them in moderation. Talk